We're going to explore a lot of things today in our 4.5 hours together. And what I'm going to challenge everybody to do is go on a little journey with me. We're going to look at the world through a lens that I can promise you, with 100% certainty, you've never looked through before. We're going to strip away technology and jargon and language and social media and pressure and everything that's happening in the world. We're going to strip all that away and get down to what makes the world tick. And what makes the world tick is us, the human species. We're going to talk about, and hopefully glorify this notion that we as business people and the business world in general is kind of getting lost. Okay, everything is starting to look the same, sound the same, feel the same, perform the same, behave the same. And what gets lost in all of that is us, human beings. And what I'm going to show you is that what makes the difference between a great business and a truly dominant business isn't what the business does no matter how well you do it. It's what the people in the market that you serve say about you when they're talking about you to other people. Because you're going to find out, and I'm going to prove it to you, that when they're talking about what you do, what PCG does, they will never once refer to what you do. That's the given. Instead, when they're talking about you, and I'll prove it, they will talk about who you are. Huge difference. Huge difference. So what I want you to do for just a sec, kind of humor me on a Thursday morning in the middle of hill country, in the middle of nowhere, the biggest state on the globe. I want you to imagine that somewhere else right now, let's call it Orlando, at a big convention somewhere, somebody is important to you. He's the head of a GC company. It's a project manager on something that you were working on. Somebody that you work with, that you spoke with, spent some time with maybe within the last week. That person tonight at whatever convention they're at is going to crack open a beer at their really fun reception because it's open bar. Always the best receptions. And at that point, the person that you spoke with last week is going to start up a conversation with somebody that you have wanted to do business with your entire career. This is a whale. This is the person who's, going to GC the building of the new Washington Commanders Stadium. Washington Commanders, formerly known, as we all know, as the Washington Football Club. Enormous piece of work, dream project, something you'd love to hang your hat on. That person that you just spent time with is about to say something about you as a person and about PCG as an entity. This could be the single most important conversation from a dollars and cents and business building standpoint that's ever taken place. And you're not there to have any influence over. What is this person that you just spent time with last week going to say about you and about PCG? What would you want that person to say? I mean, if you could plant a chip inside people's brains that would encourage them to talk about you the way you want to be talked about, to elevate your reputation, to create demand for who you are, to cement in other people's minds and hearts how awesome you are, you would do it. Anybody would. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how we build reputation through what we say, what we do, and our intention on getting the people that we work with to build our reputation for us, because that's one of the things that nobody in business ever thinks about. We believe our work speaks for itself. Our work has not, never will speak for itself. Right? I hear that all the time. Oh, Harley sell themselves. I go, pfft. Tell that to the people who've spent their whole life selling them. They don't sell themselves. It ain't about the hardware. It's not about what exists. It's about everything behind it. So what I want to do to get your imagination moving and get you focused on what's really important in life is I want to take you on a little motorcycle ride. I want you to imagine that just for a few seconds, forward. Oh, you just missed the ride part. Okay, there we go. That's you. Out on a beautiful day, you're in Texas Hill Country, living life large, and maybe that's your first time ever on a motorcycle. You're smelling things you've never smelled before. You're feeling things you've never felt before. This isn't like being in a car where you're separated from the environment. On a motorcycle, you're in the environment. So all of your senses are firing at the same time. You're smelling the hay in the field to the left. You're smelling the manure from the barn behind it, which is kind of an awesome smell. You're smelling the moss in the tree. Everything's happening at one time. It's spectacular. Okay. But you're in control of this bike and you're going 70 miles an hour. Quick lesson, quick reminder for people who already own motorcycles. Where should your eyes be? Where should your eyes be? See, what most people do on motorcycles, and it's somewhat understandable, is the same stupid thing people do in their cars. And that's they keep their head tilted down. And their head tilted down means they're staring at the road in front of them, right? Natural thing to do. We're scanning for potholes or dead possums or anything that might screw up our day. What I want to tell you, because it's important and has all kinds of lively business metaphors attached to it, is that a motorcycle goes where your eyes go. Unlike your car that requires you to, crank the steering wheel to turn it, on a motorcycle, if you look left, you're going left. You look right, you're going right. The motorcycle goes where you're looking, so therefore you want to be looking as far up the road as possible. Head back, eyes up, as far up the road as possible, because that's where you're going to be. Your eyes and your brain do a fantastic job of working together to scan. Your peripheral vision, always scanning for threats or something really cool to look at. It's going to take care of you. It's going to get you where you're going if you're looking as far up the road as possible. Now, what happens when she walks out? There's an important thing that motorcycle people need to know about. It's called target fixation. Remember I just said the bike goes where your eyes go. You stare at that cow, you're going to become one with the cow. She ain't going to like that. And odds are she's going to win in that battle. Instead, what you should be doing, what should you be doing? You should be looking at, I see a lot of space to the left. That's where you would be looking. I'm going to either skirt around or have plenty of time to slow down and avert ruining this cow's day. The bike goes where your eyes go, where your eyes are looking. Now, the reason I'm telling you all of this is because it's going to pay off for us when we get out here. This is where you want to be. This is what people spend all their money on motorcycles to do, is to get out in the country on very, very twisty roads and test ourselves. Be exhilarated and relaxed at the same time. And what else in the world allows you to do that? To test yourself. This is where physics and physiology and inertia and gyroscopics and all that stuff that you didn't learn about in high school are all taking place right in front of you. You're active in this. That's a pretty sharp turn. Awesome. There might be a school bus full of nuns coming the opposite direction into that turn. You don't know that. But you don't want to be a wimp and hit the brakes and slow down and crawl through the turn. That's no fun. So where should your eyes be? Where should your eyes be? Let's look at it this way. If it was a little later in the day and everybody's awake, I'd do an audience participation and say, clap if you think we should be looking at point number 1. But it would be dead silent because everybody in here now knows not to look directly in front. But how about spot number 2? Spot number 3? All right, quick applause meter. Who thinks we should be looking at spot number 4? Yay. I love tepid response. Spots 1, 2, or 3 have the highest potential to get you into trouble. We don't want trouble. Spot number 4, we want to look as far up the road as possible and through the turn. Through the turn. Remember why I'm saying this, because I'm going to prove it to you in a second why this is important. I know this is a stretch that I'm about to ask you to do, but what I want you to imagine for just a second is that this turn in the road as a client, as a partner, as a vendor, as a salesperson, as somebody that's important to you and important to the business. What we tend to do as business people, and it's completely understandable, especially now as everything is growing increasingly digital, is we tend to always focus on the thing that's right in front of us. I need to get the signature on this deal. I need to get this change order approved. I need to get this meeting scheduled. I need to get these materials ordered. Whatever that is, do task, function on a task, get task done. Check mark it. Done. On to the next one. What I want to challenge you to do is change your mindset and the way you look at the world and say, look, I'm about to do something for or with somebody who's really important to me and to this business and has the potential to build our reputation and create demand for us. What do I want this person that I'm about to talk to, even if it's just for 30 seconds on the phone, to remember and repeat about what I just did, what I just said? R&R, remember and repeat, became the mantra at Harley and just about any big branded company that I work with. That's what we need to focus on. What do we want people to remember about us that has nothing to do with what we as a business do? How do I want them to, feel about what just happened? Everywhere I go, people get all wadded up on the phrase customer experience. I frickin' hate that term. Why? Because nobody knows what the hell that means. We need to give our customers an unparalleled experience, says, CEOs of all these big companies, and they kind of bang the gavel. Now go make it happen. And people, what the hell are we supposed to do? Right? You hear customer experience, and you think, doesn't that require huge grand gestures and buying huge steak dinners and ringside or courtside seats at the Knicks game? All customer experience is what somebody remembers, period. Think of any business you ever bought from, any business you ever talked to, a restaurant, you went to buy a lawnmower. You had an experience whether you're aware of it or not. And that experience was either positive, oh my God, it was great. They took such great care of me, which is by far the smallest percentage of buying experiences you'll ever have. It was negative, boy, they suck. Or it's that 90% of transactions that are in the middle that you remember nothing about, that you have no reaction to whatsoever. Got what I paid for. Got precisely what I expected, right? Like the other thousands of transactions that you have over the course of a year. If we're going to be remembered, that means we need to say and do things in front of people that they perceive as being not only positive, but also, to a slight measure, delightful. Something that I clearly see is being done to benefit me. We have opportunities over and over and over every day of our work lives to say and do things in front of people that are going to, next slide, build our reputation. There it is. So the question that we ask ourselves is, look, am I here to just robotically serve, to answer the people's questions when they call, to solve the problem, to put out the fire, to order the stuff? Or do I have a larger purpose, and that's to build the company's reputation, to build my personal reputation, to make me more promotable, make me more valuable, make me more attractive in the human sense? Right? People want to be with me, want to work with me. That all depends on what we say and do or encourage people to remember and repeat. Now, I can be just about any place on the planet. Next, there we go. We're just going to rifle through these for a second. And no matter where I'm at, and no matter what I'm talking about, when the subject of motorcycles comes up, I always know, we're going to need a new battery for this, that's Wisconsin if you haven't been, by the way. Oh, come on, that was a joke, folks. Jesus, how hard are you going to make me work up here? Even people who dislike motorcycles ardently, and there's a lot of them. A lot of people out there who dislike Harleys feverishly. But just about anyone, anywhere you go in the world, no matter what language they speak, the God they pray to, color of their skin, the thickness of their wallet, sooner or later the conversation will always turn to what's on that dude's arm right there. The people will always say, it's unbelievable that Harley customers are so loyal that they go out and have the company's logo tattooed onto their bodies. Millions of people have done that. Anybody here have such strong affinity for a business that you have tattooed their logo onto your body? I have Pepperidge Farm right here, but right? It's crazy. But here's what they say, though. That's so cool that they're that loyal. I wish our customers and our employees could be that loyal, but, and there's always that but what we do isn't cool. All right, what we do isn't iconic and steeped in history and folklore and all this wonderful stuff. Or what we do isn't even visible sometimes. We're doing insurance or software. And to those people, I ask what I'm about to ask you. Those of us, this guy, that have this corporate symbol inked onto our bodies, what are we professing our loyalty to? And people will always say, oh, to their motorcycle, to their awesome piece of hardware, to their Harley, yeah. That's precisely the thinking that bankrupted our business. We believed as a business, and we had proved it to ourselves over a few decades, that what we did was what was important. What we did is what separated us from everybody else in the world, from any other, not just product, but any other type of lifestyle activity. We glorified what we did. And what we did was design, engineer, manufacture, distribute, sell, service, love, ride awesome motorcycles. Really cool, badass hardware. And that worked for a while. And the reason that worked for a while is that from the early 1950s until into the early 80s-ish, there was no competition for this. So Harley's market share in North America was about 96%. That's called virtual monopoly. Pause for smoke. That's pretty awesome when nobody's competing against you. You can pretty much say or do whatever you want. But what do you suppose happened when really smart, incredibly deep-pocketed companies with name brands or with company names you've all heard of, the Hondas, the Yamahas of the world, the BMWs, began manufacturing and shipping into the U.S. and all over the world product that looked like and performed precisely the way ours did. Only they were priced anywhere from 40 to 60% less than what we were doing. Oops. As market share drops from 95% to less than 20% in 10 years, people start swallowing really hard. What the hell happened here? And I'll give you the long and short of it. I'll give you the punchline. We spent too much time and too much energy glorifying that, what we do. And what we learned the hard way is that we as a species cannot be made loyal to a product, just like we cannot be made loyal to a service no matter how good it is. Because we're human beings. We humanize everything. We're not loyal to the motorcycle. We're loyal to the people behind the motorcycle, the people that made this happen. Everything in life that has the word attraction, belonging, always has the word human connected to it. We humanize everything. We don't wish to be known for and can't, if we want to be competitive, known for what we do. We need to be known for who we are because that's where the differences lie. That's what people remember, and that's what they will talk about.